All right, what's going on again, world? It's your friendly neighborhood community farmer, Farmer Fredo, Executive Director for Flint River Fresh. So I'm just doing a quick check-in. The sun is beaming, the weather is nice and cool, and so right now we are encouraging most of our community garden partners or our schoolyard garden partners, or even like our urban farm sites to do what we like to call a garden refresh. Basically what that is taking like a week or two to prepare your garden space for the upcoming growing season. So we're about to transition from winter to spring. And so these are just some of the things that we do for our raised box garden beds or our container gardens. So we start off with simply just removing the weeds out of the garden beds. And then the next thing that we do is that we like to loosen up the soil. And the whole idea with a lot of our raised bed boxes, we treat them like they're no-till. So this is our way of how people would take a tiller into that garden space before you plant to break the soil up. We're doing the same exact thing, just utilizing a digging fork. And I always like to show, got some good worms growing in here. And the whole idea was just kind of like to break up the hard pan of the soil just a little bit. Sometimes they would just kind of like turn it over just to loosen it up as we're trying to prepare the ground for the upcoming planting season. Then once we loosen the soil and stuff up, our next step is to add a little bit of amendment to it. So we like to use a combination of an organic all-purpose fertilizer, but then we'll also add in something that we call azomite, which is a volcanic mineral that's really there to help with root development of our crops. So we're not endorsing this product in particular, but the idea is to find like an all-purpose organic fertilizer. So again, this is something that you can find in most of your box stores. They have other products too. They have another one that's called Plant Tone. But the idea is on our this is a 16-foot box. So we're gonna put out about 4 cups of this organic fertilizer. Now we got a fancy cup here, but you can use just your regular, I call it like your Family Reunion red cup. Do about 2 of those, and that'll equal about 4 cups. Do it like you put some seasoning on your food that you about to cook. We put some seasoning on the earth for those plants we about to grow. Another product we use, and this is just again showing diversity, we have like some farmers in the area. They make an organic pelletized chicken fertilizer. So it's the same thing as an all-purpose you can find in the box store, but again, we're about conservation and conserving. So they take chicken litter, heat it up, and it's just like a nice grain like pelletized. So I'm just gonna sprinkle a little bit of that into like the garden bed. Next product I like to mix is just called azomite. So again, this is like a trace mineral from like volcanic ash, but this is more for the root development of like the transplant. So developing like a nice root system really helps in terms of what you're about to grow, making sure that it kind of starts off healthy, because like I tell people, if you have like a healthy plant, it can also naturally fights off diseases. About 4 cups of it. And what I like about organic product is that it versus like your synthetic stuff, is that you can almost be a little bit liberal in how much you put out there, because it's gonna slowly be released to the plant. When you get like the synthetic stuff, like the 10-10-10, 6-6-6, 20-20-20, that's you have to be very careful that you pay attention to the amount that you put out, because too much can actually be harmful to the plant. I like to tell the kids we're about to make a little gumbo. So we're gonna start to mix that organic fertilizer with the azomite and just kind of mix it in really nice and even. But then we like to put on my favorite thing, which is like a layer of compost. And so you can go to your box store and, you know, get either mushroom compost or cow manure compost, or just a type of a nice, rich, broken down compost to put a nice little layer to the soil and stuff that you're doing. So sometimes when we first start in the garden space, we'll get it like in bulk to fill up the boxes. But once we got them established, we just get a good old-fashioned bags. So we do 3 bags of compost and like 1 bag of just your generic potting soil. And the main reason, again, the compost is adding some nutrients to it. The potting soil is like a byproduct of like lumber yard, peat moss, so on and so forth. So it really helps in terms of like water retention. Then once we add all those ingredients in there and make the layer, then we just take a rake and we just smooth it on out. But we like to do this process either between like 4 to 7 days before we're actually about to plant. To kind of give like the organic fertilizer a little bit time to rest into the soil, water a little bit and things like that. So hopefully this video will help you out and kind of help you jumpstart or refresh your garden space. And you know what we're about here at Flint River Fresh. We're all about communities taking ownership of where their food comes from. And this is just a simple step that we do every growing season to recharge, to refresh our garden space. So again, this your boy, your favorite community farmer, Farmer Fredo. I'm checking in, I'm checking out, and growing food is what I'm about. Peace.